Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Women's Health Podcast with Kim and Dr. C. I am Dr. C, the Women's Health Doc, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host,
Kimberly Hoffman Reed, the Women's Health Physio.
Kim. How are you?
I am good. Good to see you, Doc.
Yeah, studio up last week.
Well, I know it comes with the territory. It's fine. It's fine.
Listen, guys, my apologies.
Mm.
I'm going to take the blame on this one, but anyway, we're here this week and we're going to make the best of it.
Yeah,
Right? Agreed?
yeah, I agreed.
All right, cool. So tell me, first of all, what's trending? It's been a while, so I'm curious to find out what's going on in the social media health space.
Doc, it's Olympic season. Of course,
Oh, yes.
Olympics is trending. The
Oh,
Olympics is
yes.
trending. And women have dominated the Olympics. For the first time in history, women are participating in 50% of all the Olympic sports. So it's
Oh,
even Steven now, men and women for the first time in history. So
what?
that's amazing.
You mean, when you say 50%, what do you mean?
So like over the years, female athletes have been like 2.2% back in the 1900s. Up to 1992, women were only 28.9% of the athletes. But
Really?
this year, 2024, women are 50% of the athletes participating in the Olympics. Women's rights and where we are
No,
now, it is
no,
very new. You seem to not believe me, but it is very
not
new.
believe you, but this is news to me, though. I appreciate it. So you're saying that all along, all their events that only men were competing in?
They had few events that men were competing in, and only men. And there were
Uh,
events that even when we do have women competing, we don't have as much women representing in that event.
Oh, so you have women representing in the events, but not as many as the
Right.
men.
From other countries, because there were some countries that didn't allow women to participate in sports.
Oh,
Like India and some other Asian countries. This year they
okay.
had the first 3 women Olympians.
Oh, wow.
So yes, so we're
Oh,
coming a
wow. That's
long
good.
way.
That's good, Kim. That's
Power to
definitely,
women.
yeah, definitely a thumbs up. I'm proud. Yeah, yeah. We put our hands together for that one. I'm really happy.
And there's always this myth that people don't watch women's sports.
Mm.
And now it's been proven that that's not true. That's not true. People are tuned in to gymnastics. We had
Yeah.
multiple celebrities at Simone's
Simone
competition.
Biles. Yeah, she's
Right.
amazing. She
She's
is something
amazing.
else.
On the topic of Simone, she is the most decorated gymnast, male or female, in
And
the
one of the
history
most
of the sport
decorated athletes.
overall.
You won a gold
Overall.
medal.
Morning, right? So
Yeah,
that is
she's.
amazing. And she said she's not the next Usain Bolt. She's not the next Michael Phelps. She's the first Simone Biles. So put
Nice.
some respect on her
Come on
name.
now. But what's impressive is, remember, she missed the last Olympics.
For her mental health, because she was
Yeah.
having the twisties. And for those who don't know, twisties is a mental health condition that happens to athletes, particularly gymnasts. When they're doing certain flips in the air, they lose a sense of direction of where they are in the air, and it's extremely dangerous.
Mhm.
And she backed out and said, "Hey, I need to go take care of me." And
Right.
she's back.
Yeah.
3 gold medals so far.
Wow.
So power to Simone. Mental health is winning, as well as women are winning. And that's not even the most impressive thing I have to tell you so far. That's
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
haven't told you the most impressive thing so far.
What's the most
We
impressive thing?
had 2 pregnant women for competing at the Olympics. One
What?
in archery and one in fencing. Talk to me now. Talk to
What?
me. One 7 month pregnant, one with 6 month pregnant.
Oh my goodness, really?
Really, I
That's
think she's a
impressive.
fencer from Egypt, Nada Hafez. And we had Yela Gul from
Wow.
Azerbaijan, 6.5 months pregnant, participating in archery
Oh,
at the Olympics. Isn't that amazing?
it's amazing. Listen, we
It's
have some. Yeah, that's
amazing.
amazing. As an OBGYN, my heart, that's probably the most exciting thing I've heard all day.
And then I'm gonna add on it because Alison Felix, because of Alison Felix, they had the first nursing area for women participating in the Olympics.
Oh,
So
wow.
mothers
Yeah,
participating.
because she had had a foundation that was really advocating for
For
more.
mother
Yeah, yeah.
athletes, yes,
Wow. Yeah.
because of her deal with Nike. Nike has supported her entire career. And the
Mm-hmm.
moment she had her baby, they didn't want to negotiate her contract in a way that would be suitable for her and for her family.
Oh, wow.
So she left Nike and she went, formed her own company, and now she's out here supporting mothers, giving them
Nice.
what she could not have
Could not have.
as an
Wow.
athlete. And I just having all the feels. I am so excited and so happy for women athletes. I'm so proud. I am so,
Yeah.
so proud that my daughter will grow up and see this and it'll be the norm. It won't be a what's trending. It will be the norm by the
Wow.
time she's interested in the Olympics, even though I'm forcing her to watch the races with me.
Well,
She
listen, I'm
needs to
super
have
proud
some
of that.
national pride.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's important for kids to get involved. I
Yes.
think it was easier for us back in the day because we didn't
Whenever I
have
have
as
nothing to
many
watch.
distractions. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know about your time, Kim, but when I was coming up, we had JBC, Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, and then they had CVM. To this day, I don't know what
Mhm.
CVM means, to be honest. They still have CVM, right?
Right.
So, and naturally, whenever the Olympics, because that was the big thing, that was all that was on
Mhm.
TV.
All that was on TV, both
So,
channels.
you had to watch it. But nowadays, these kids have all these
The
different cable
tablets.
options. Then they have the tablet, then they have the phone. So, of course, it's hard for them to really appreciate, what's
Yep.
going on with that.
Uh, so I have forced it. I'm like, okay, you don't have to watch all of them, but you have to watch the finals.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a Jamaican in the finals. You have to watch.
Well, listen, it's a good time for the Caribbean. I won't say it's as good as it has been in the past for Jamaica, but for the
Right.
Caribbean, St. Lucian, I'm hearing, I haven't seen the
Yes.
race yet because I was out, but St.
Yes.
Lucian won the 100-meter final.
She did in
That's impressive.
9.71.
That's an
Yes.
impressive run,
It's an
and
impressive run.
is it Alfred? Alfred is her
Yeah,
name.
Alfred, that's her name. And
Yeah,
and she trained
yeah.
here in Jamaica. She went to St. Catherine High, so she's our cousin. She's our
Oh,
cousin. She's our
yeah, yeah,
cousin.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost like a Jamaican win. We'll
A
take it.
Jamaican
We'll
connection, right?
take it. Take it.
Yeah. So I know a couple nurses at hospital are going to be shouting and screaming when they see me on Monday because they were
Yeah.
telling me, okay, they had a solution in the race. I didn't
Yeah.
expect her to win, but
Well,
that's
after
impressive.
our mishaps, I was expecting her to win.
Oh well, no, well
Uh,
at the time when we were
yeah,
talking, this
at
was
the
before.
time, definitely not with Sharika and Shelly.
With
I
Shelley,
wasn't.
oh come on, so
But things happen. And
yeah,
hey, since 1996, Jamaica has always had an athlete on the podium. It's our
yeah,
first time not having one since 1996. And I'm saying that the women they've always been doing well.
yeah.
They've just been overshadowed by the men. They've from 1996.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Kim. I'll tell you the truth, probably because, I was a little bit older than you, not much, by a few days or weeks. But the truth is, women's track and field has always been the standard bearer for the Caribbean, especially Jamaica.
Mhm.
It's actually in more recent times that the men
Exactly.
have really come to bear in sprinting with the arrival of the Asafa Pauls of this world, and then the Usain Bolts. If you go back to the 90s, the late 80s, the 90s, then Merlene Ottey, Juliet
Hmm.
Cuthbert, these
Hmm.
were the standard bearers, and they were the real ones carrying the torch.
Yep.
So
Yep. So I
power
always
to
like to remind people of that. And I know it's not probably persons are watching and they're like, oh, we didn't get any medal in the 100-meter women, but we got our first shot put male medal today.
Mhm.
And Shanika Ricketts, she came second in the triple jump. So we're picking up medals where we didn't normally pick up medals. So, diversity. And yay,
Yeah.
Team
Yeah,
Jamaica.
inspiring. In fact, for the swimming, there was a Caymanian Jamaican
Yes,
who made it to the finals.
I did. I did see that. I
You
did
saw
see
that?
that.
Yeah, that was
Yes, I
impressive.
did see that.
And swimming is generally one of the hardest events to
Yes.
really excel at. So
It's
yeah,
especially
power
in
to
the
the Caribbean.
Caribbean.
in the
People in the
Caribbean, yeah.
Caribbean, we don't have the resources, you know?
Yeah,
So
quite often.
I
The
am
Caribbean,
so
super
proud. I love the
proud,
Olympics. I love the
super
Olympics
proud.
so much. But you know,
Hmm.
another study that came out this week that persons were talking about a lot is that 40% of female athletes in the Olympics have PCOS.
40%.
40%, which is much higher than the typical amount of persons in the normal society that would have PCOS.
Really? It's a
Yeah.
recently released study.
Well, I don't think the study is recent, but I think persons have been talking about it a lot this week
40% of
of
women.
athletes. That's exactly what the article said.
That's
More
more
than
than
four
four times
times the
the
norm.
prevalence in the general population.
Mhm. And
Mm.
it makes sense. One commentator, somebody who posted about it, she was saying because of the high levels of testosterone,
I was going to say the
which
same thing,
is the superpower. It's a superpower for
which
the
is probably why
athletes.
these women are able to run much faster, and they must probably, it advanced their physiological development in the first place in terms of muscular
Mm-hmm.
development. Wow,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's
So
interesting.
you see the superpower we always talk about, what we call about pain to passion.
Yeah, pain to purpose. So,
Right, pain to purpose.
but then it tells you that these are women that, because most of these women are probably generally quite fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you imagine the risk that they would have been at if they were not athletes. Because we know, for those who may not have been listening to our podcast in the past, we talk about PCOS a lot here, and
A
there is
lot.
a big association between obesity and PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting information.
And it also shows how persons with PCOS can look for outlets to help them to manage their
Mm,
symptoms.
definitely.
Because these persons I know a lot of persons with PCOS, we struggle to function in our daily lives because of the hormones not being regulated, the mood swings affecting your mood, your weight, and a lot of different areas in your life. And I feel like if we all spend some time finding an outlet that we like, not just pick a random one, like you don't have to go run and sprint or become the next Katie in the pool or Simone Biles, but finding outlets that you enjoy that will help you to regulate your hormones and to utilize probably some of the extra testosterone that you have because of PCOS. So that might be useful or help to regulate it. So that might be useful for you. I have taken up walking, speed walking, power walking in the mornings, and I can say, I know, and I'm doing crazy times, I'm doing crazy times. So everybody's convincing me to start running because they're like, no, Kim, you're walking at 14 minutes and in 14 minutes mile, you need to start running. I'm like, I enjoy my walks. But
That's good. That's
I'll
good,
think about it.
actually. I think the best I've
Yeah.
been able to do was probably close, was 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're doing
Walking.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
trust me, and that's
thinking
with
about it.
effort. That's with effort, because I'm not embarrassed to tell you that I'm closer to 20 generally. My walk is more of a stroll than.
It's a leisure. I'm walking. I don't know if it's with a lot of effort because I'm just walking and then check the time. So it's not really effort. So
Well,
I
that
guess if I
means if you
wanted
put some
to,
effort in it, you'll be good. You'll be very good.
I should run, but I don't think my body likes stressful exercise. So I don't try to the really stressful ones. I'm probably stick to the walking.
Oh,
And I've been noticing that starting my mornings off with these walks,
right.
getting the vitamin D in, helping to regulate my cortisol levels that I wake up with high cortisol levels, and helping to regulate my stress level in the early morning has translated well in my days.
Right.
So that's what works for me. I don't know what will work for you, but as I give it a try, we do know that exercise and losing weight significantly helps with the PCOS, especially when it comes to like infertility. So I'm guessing it helps overall, and you should probably give it a try.
You know what, Kim? I agree 100%. And I think that, one of the things, I was with a patient earlier this week, and I think this kind of supports what you're saying. And one of the things I was trying to get her to understand is the whole stress response and the effect it has on weight gain, and also the challenges that many persons have with weight loss. We talk about nutrition, we talk about exercise, but I don't really think we spend enough time talking about the effect of stress, of just
Exactly.
psychological stress on our body's physiology. Because, as you know, when you are stressed, you release stress hormones. All right. The key
Absolutely.
stress hormones are cortisol and adrenaline. Okay. Adrenaline is the fight and flight acute response to stress that brings up your blood pressure, tenses your muscles, right? Increases your heart rate in preparation for running or fighting or fleeing.
Right.
And then cortisol is the hormone that's designed to increase our blood sugar, increase our ability to retain water whenever we are dealing with periods of stress, especially when fasted. Because remember, in the past, when we were hunting, gathering, living out in the wild, if you were going out in the morning to hunt, you're not hunting on a full stomach. And so
Right.
your cortisol would normally help to keep your blood sugar up, maintain prevent fluid loss so that you're at low risk of becoming dehydrated. And adrenaline will help to increase the muscular productivity and so forth, increase your capacity for exercise. The problem is if you're chronically stressed and you chronically have high levels of these hormones, that's where we get these problems. So, for example, if we're talking, since we're speaking about weight loss, if you have chronically elevated cortisol, Kim, it's going to chronically push up your insulin levels because it's
Yeah.
inducing what we call insulin resistance. It's reducing your
Right.
sensitivity to insulin. Similarly, adrenaline reduces your sensitivity to insulin. So you can see now persons who are chronically stressed are going to have higher insulin levels. And we know insulin is the main hormone that promotes fat deposition, right? So you can see that many times, even just the stress of trying to lose the weight makes it more difficult to lose the weight.
It
And
does.
so one of the things I was trying to get her to understand is that, yeah, I know you really want to get this done, but the more you get stressed and burdened over it, the more difficult it becomes. But if you begin, just enjoy your life, enjoy exercising, enjoy eating foods that are going to help your body, help your health, enjoy good nutrition, enjoy getting your rest, and you will find that it's more effective.
Absolutely. And it's funny you're saying this because I read a book this week called The Mountain Is You. Excellent book. I recommend it to everyone. You should definitely read it. I have type A personality, in case you didn't know, Doc. So I have an obsession with when I'm doing something, it's all or nothing. There's no in between, there's no middle ground, which it can be a good thing sometimes because I can produce excellent work. And then it can be a bad thing because I get nothing done because it's either I'm doing it at 100% or I'm not doing it at all. So you can see where that's some amount of negative, right? So
Right.
what this book is saying to me, and I've seen it countless times. I've seen it where I'm at the peak of my business, meaning I'm posting on social media. I have patients coming in left, right, and center more than I know what to do with. And then I just shut down. I'm like, this is just too much for me. Somehow, some way, something happens. And something happens. I've had accidents, I've had illnesses, I've had different things. And I'm like, man, why does this always happen when things seem to be going so right? And this book, it said that as human beings, we can only manage so much happiness. We have a cap on happiness that
Interesting.
we're supposed to experience. It doesn't mean that the cap is permanent. It means that at this moment right now, I can only experience this amount of happiness. So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to build principles in our lives that will extend this cap. So for instance, we're not meant to lose 30 pounds in 3 months. We're not meant to lose a big amount, make big, rapid changes in our lives, because our body is going to self-sabotage to bring us back to what it's
to our
used
baseline.
to that cap that it's used to, or even below after that stressful time of just hammering out your goals. We are meant to slowly, incrementally improve upon our lives until one day we wake up and we're living the lives that we dream of. We're not meant to just go hard and done and do it one time. We're meant to build habits over time that will get us to the life that we're trying to live.
Right.
And any other way you do it, you're going to fail. And I know I've heard many persons say, I started exercising, I was going every day, and they'll tell you, and they're like, and I don't know what happened, I just stopped. You've heard that a million times. A person who tell you that, I just started walking just a little 5 minutes a morning time until I just build on it over time, and now I just walk every day. Those people walk for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's how things are meant to be done. But because we have social media, we see influencers appearing to exercise every day, every morning, we think, "There's something wrong with me. Why I can't keep up?" It's not true. You don't get up one day, waking up 8 o'clock every morning and just say, "I'm going to start wake up 5 o'clock this week." It's not sustainable. It's not going to happen. You're waking up 8 o'clock. What's realistic is saying, "I'm going to wake up 7:45. I'm going to wake up 7:30. Okay, I'm going to wake up 7 o'clock." And so on and so forth until you're waking up 5 a.m. That's the only real way to do it. You're going to fail every single time if you're like, "Oh, I'm going to have this big audacious goal and I'm going to hammer it, hammer at it, hammer at it." Yes, it will work out in the beginning, but how long will you be able to sustain that for? Chances are not very long.
I mean, I think I agree with that. I agree with some aspects of that. Certainly, the fact that our tendency is to move to our baseline. Our tendency is that we're always going to have a set level that our body adapts to over time. And that is where it seeks to remain.
Yep.
Our physiology is very efficient. Our bodies are designed to be extremely efficient. And efficiency means, okay, how little energy can I use to survive? And that means staying put, pretty much. Okay.
Comfort zone.
Yeah. So it makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint that we have that set point. What I do perhaps disagree with is that change always necessarily requires incremental adjustments. I think that is true, but I don't think it's the only truth. I think it's true because incremental change is easier than drastic change. But what I think is more important than whether it's incremental or drastic is how consistent we are at it. So, and this is where it's going to come back around to support what you're saying, but I want to kind of separate it because, for example, let's use the waking up in the morning, and you're saying you normally wake up at 8 and you want to get up at 5. I have transitioned in my life from being somebody who slept late. When I was younger, a big part of that had to do with adapting because of work and responsibilities.
Right.
And guess what happened? An alarm initially made a difference. Okay, I have to get up at 5 a.m. I have to get up at this time.
You have to go to work.
And then I have to go to work, and then after a while, no, I don't need an alarm to get up in the morning. I get up every morning pretty much by 5 o'clock. The latest I get up in the morning, even without an alarm, is 6 a.m. Okay. Now, what happened was it may have been a drastic change, but it was consistent. And so what happened over time is that because it's consistent, after a while, it reconditioned my body's set point.
And it becomes a habit.
Then it becomes a habit. So ultimately, therefore, the goal should be to create habits. And for each person, how they create that habit may vary. Most people, the incremental way is best for most people. There are a few people who can do it, like cold turkey.
Yes, you can do cold turkey.
But the majority of people fit into your category. And the reason why I say that is because There are some people who are so physiologically advantaged. Let's talk about exercise. Okay. There are some people who they need to push themselves to be entertained. And that's fine for them. But the majority of people are going to fit into the category that you described. But the key thing is that can we do the same thing over and over and over and over and over?
Right. But when it comes to changing your life and making life goals and doing big things that's going to make a significant difference in your life, if you're saying, hey, I'm going to start exercising, I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to drink more water, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to have this diet all at one time, that's probably where it's a little more difficult for any one person to maintain all these new changes that they need to make to have this big dramatic change in their
That's what
lives.
you're saying. Yeah.
So for instance, in that case, what you're trying to do is habit stack. You build one habit and you've built that habit and you add another habit and then you add another habit because you're saying, okay, if I'm exercising, I realize that I exercise better if I wake up early. So I'm going to wake up early. Okay, I'm waking up early, I'm exercising. Okay, I can see better results in my exercise if I eat better. Okay, so I'm going to start eating better. I'm going to just choose to add more vegetables. Oh, I have added more vegetables so I can eat less carbs. So ultimately you just start to slowly bring about this change. And before you know it, you're somebody who wakes up early, exercise, and eats well.
Absolutely. Yeah. You build how is about once again building habits. And one of the things that's so important in terms of incremental change is that, for example, when we talk about exercise, if you have not been exercising for a long time, it's probably dangerous, not just ill-advised,
right?
to go too hard, to go too aggressively.
It is.
Because you're likely to injure yourself. It's like, so recently I started after like 2 decades playing football. Okay. I see you laughing. And you have a good reason to laugh because I'd laugh too. And, so this guy's invited me to play football.
So that's where you've been.
So now when I started exercising, well, you know my journey, working, and I told you in 2021 when I decided, okay, I'm going to have to fix some things. Overweight, cholesterol, all these things. You know the story. And I started exercising just by walking.
Right.
By walking each morning, initially 15 minutes, and then it goes on till an hour and more. And that became my thing. And still is. My baseline exercise is walking. Now, if I decided to start playing football back then, I probably would have messed up my knee or done some major damage to myself, right?
Precisely.
God knows what would happen at that time. Right. So the reality of it is that over time, building up my capacity, I can probably do a little bit more.
Right.
And even now, I'm not going to probably do it more than once or twice a week because, the more
you understand your capacity.
Yeah. Right. And the more fatigued you are, the more likely you are to injure yourself.
Precisely.
One of the other things that happens if you push too hard is that it's hard to be consistent if you're injured and in pain.
And if you're too sore after you do it,
too sore,
you don't want to do it again.
So a lot of people say, Doc, all right, I'm going to start going to the gym. I caution them. I say, no, that's not what I'm saying. And so as soon as I say, okay, let's try and work on the weight, the first thing I hear is, okay, I'm going to join the gym. No.
Gym membership.
That's probably not the best place to go. Because what happens is that you go in, you go hard, and then you end up sore. You can't go for another week because you're recovering. And then by the time you're recovered,
you don't feel like going back. Perfect. I always tell my patients, start with what you have. If you have to go pay for something, that's not how you should start. You start by walking. You must have some shoes, some suitable shoes. And if you don't have any, tell yourself that if I am consistent for 3 weeks, I'm going to buy myself a shoe.
Come on. So the shoes becomes a reward.
It's the reward at the end.
I love that.
So I always tell my patients, don't buy anything. You're not going to buy anything. You're going to just start. So if you can do some clams on the ground, whatever you can start with, start. I normally give them some free bands. So they have resistance bands at the very least to start. And I tell them walk 15 minutes. You know, I always say this, walk 15 minutes from your
Yeah,
house. And
you
if you
always
walk
say
15
that.
minutes, come back, that's 30 minutes.
Half,
And that's the recommended for at least 3 times a week. That's recommended. So
right.
for adults. So there you go. Just start right there. And another thing that it does when you build increments is because now your comfort zone will become a healthier life. When you're not doing that, your body starts to remind you that we need to do something because
Mm,
that's now your norm. So you
right.
find that just like the doctor saying, you can't sleep in late anymore because now your body's going to be like, what's wrong? Why are we still in the bed? It's trying to get you back to your baseline. And if your baseline is here and living a healthy life, then that's where your body's trying to keep you. And that's the amazing thing with how the body is wired.
Wow. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This information, probably most people can get it, would be a major breakthrough for the average person who is trying to change any health seeking habit in their life, whatever it is. The other thing I would say, Kim, and you're going to get, I'd love for you to comment on this part, is what to
Sure.
do when you fail. When you fail and you fall off. Because,
You start again.
you see, what most people fail to understand, not to play on the word, is that failure is a part of progress. Simply because no habit is created overnight.
None.
And so no matter what you're trying to do, you're going to find that there are times when you're going to fall off the wagon. And it's only when you keep getting back up enough times that it becomes a habit.
Yep. Absolutely. Fail forward. Fail forward is a thing. So you just fail, you get back up, you move on. When building habits are read, I think it's compound interest. I think that's the book that this came from. You make a commitment to yourself, and it's usually that I won't miss whatever I'm trying to build 3 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So you give yourself some grace. So if you miss one day, you can say, okay, I missed a day. You miss 2 days, you can say, okay, I missed 2 days. But that third day, you're going to be like, I cannot miss this day. So you give yourself some room to mess up without pressuring yourself too much. So if you say I'm going to do something 7 times a week, it's a little excessive. Go with 5, and then you have some days that you can say, okay, today, Tuesday, it's going to be a little harder to get it done. So I'm not going to do it Tuesday, but I'm definitely going to do it Wednesday. And you can, if you miss Tuesday, miss Wednesday, you can say Thursday, no, I have to do it. And you make sure you get it done. You give yourself grace, a lot of grace. And if you miss Thursday, Friday, you say, okay, I missed the 3 days. I promised myself I want to miss the 3 days. Let me get back on this right away. And you
Yeah,
just go. You
yeah,
just go.
absolutely.
There's no perfectionism doesn't really exist. It only exists in your mind. Nobody
Yeah,
is perfect. Life isn't perfect. So stop expecting yourself to be held to these unrealistic expectations. It's not possible. You just keep going. You keep moving. The only way you fail is if you stop. The only way you fail is if you give up. That's the only true failure.
well, yeah, absolutely. I would say, especially people who are generally empathetic, are
Mm-hmm.
least empathetic to themselves.
So true.
We get upset because we know we're supposed to be on this particular diet and we're not supposed to eat that, and then we eat it and we feel so defeated. Or we're supposed to be exercising 3 times per week or 5 times per week and we missed a few days and we begin to beat upon ourselves. Or we go on a scale and we have not achieved the target weight loss. But let me ask the question, what would you do if someone else were you?
Mm-hmm. Precisely. You would tell them to keep going. You said, don't
You
worry
say,
about it.
well,
It's not that big of
yeah,
a deal.
you
It's not that
know,
serious. You can
absolutely.
continue. But
Yeah,
you're not saying that to yourself.
but you're not that kind to yourself.
You're
And I
not.
think sometimes if we are, it's funny because it seems contradictory because most people love themselves more than they love others.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, but yet we're so hard. And sometimes we just need to be a little bit kinder to ourselves. And that will help to take the stress off. That will help take the stress out of the process. And when we take the stress out of the process, our bodies actually become more compliant to change,
Precisely.
right? Our
Precisely.
hormones begin to look like what they are to look like in order to achieve what we want to look like.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's precisely it. And I think, we grew up in Jamaica where they say if you talk to yourself, you're mad. But you realize that a lot of the problems that we're having is because we're not having these conversations with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if you find yourself doom scrolling, that's what I call it, when you're just on social media scrolling, you're not even looking at what you're looking at. You're just there and the time is passing you by. Then what?
Doom scrolling,
Doom scrolling.
as
You're
in
just,
DOOM.
yeah. So you're just scrolling.
Interesting. See,
You're
every
just
time I
scrolling on
talk to you, I
social
learn
media.
something new. Doom scrolling.
Yeah, it's either scrolling on social media or just doing something that you're not supposed to do, binge watching on Netflix. And it's not something that you scheduled in. It's not something that you're supposed to be doing at this time. You ask yourself, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I'm supposed to be doing my exercise. And you say, but I don't feel like it. One, we don't act on feelings. We analyze feelings. So we say, okay, but why don't I feel like it? I don't feel like it because it's too tiring. I feel too tired after. And then you can say to yourself, all right, maybe the last time we walked for an hour and that was probably too much. Let's just go for a 15 minutes walk. And then, you convince yourself like, all right, so it's not that I don't want to exercise any at all. I just don't want to feel so tired after I'm done. And you say, okay. And you negotiate with yourself. So you're talking to yourself, probably not out loud, but you're analyzing your behavior, analyzing your patterns. You're not just allowing it to just happen and just go, and you have no control over it. So, talking to yourself don't really mean say you're mad. we need to have these conversations with ourselves and realize why we're doing things or why we're not doing things that will lead to the healthier self that we're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. So you hear that, guys? Talking to yourself doesn't mean you're mad. If I heard somebody say, then there's probably a problem if you're not talking to yourself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If there's anybody who's going to talk to you, let it be you first, right?
Let it be you first.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's good, Kim. That's a good show, Kim.
It is a good show. I mean, always so lovely talking to you. So you want to give your takeaways and I'll give mine?
Yeah, definitely. So I think if we were to look at 3 takeaways, I think let's start from the back. I would say, first of all, let's be more kind to ourselves. All right, be more empathetic to ourselves. 2, understand that ultimately long-term change comes by creating habits, right? And requires long-term commitment to that process. And of course, the third one is to go all the way back to say, let's just try and take the stress out of it. Let's try and take the stress out of being healthy. Being healthy is supposed to be something that is healthy and not stressful. And unfortunately, much of what we're doing today is just making health seem like a very stressful thing. So let's take the stress out of it. Let's just take it easy and just try to do what's right for ourselves.
Amazing. It's going to be hard for me to find 3 now. My first one would be no, you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do it all at once. Just take your time. Right. Small baby steps, baby habits, and before you know it, you'll be living the life you dreamed of once you're consistent. That is it. Small baby habits and keep it going. If you find that every time I put in this big effort and I can't make it, just break it down. Break it down, and eventually you'll get there. 2, have conversations with yourself. Do not live off your feelings. Your feelings they're not facts. You don't even know why you're feeling them unless you analyze why you're feeling them. And sometimes our thoughts aren't even us. We have how many thoughts? I don't remember what the scientist says, but we have a lot of thoughts for the day. And sometimes it's something that we've seen, something that we smell, something that we hear, and it doesn't even really have anything to do with who we are as a person. So don't allow your thoughts and your feelings to be the driving factors in your life. Allow your principles of who you want to be and the values and morals that you have for yourself. Allow that to be a guiding force and always match your actions against that. I say I want to be a healthy person, and my actions, are they matching that of a healthy person? That is the measuring stick, not that. That can't be it because feelings are fickle. You feel one way now, you feel the next way tomorrow. That's not enough to keep you going. So don't use your feelings, use your principles to guide your life. And before you know it, you'll be living that life that you dream of. And thirdly, women are awesome. You can be in the Olympics pregnant. So go for all your dreams. And you can have the family, you can have the Olympics, you can have the husband, you can have it all. Power to you, women. And yay, that's my 3.
Nice. I love that. I love that last one. So power to all the women out there who are leading by example and bringing all your potential to fulfillment. Kim,
Hey,
awesome show as usual.
awesome.
Enjoyed chatting with you. Enjoyed learning
Always.
from you and about all that's trending in the health space. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy. Take care.
See you on the next one.